Today we'll be looking at a lamb. Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel Kazzalistic, and hi to my new subscribers, thank you for joining me. So today we're going to be looking at obviously this little guy here. This was actually a kit that my friend that I care for bought for me. Yeah, I'll be keeping this one for myself, believe it or not, just because of the cost of the yarn and everything, and obviously it was a gift, so I don't really want to give it away, but I'm super pleased with how this has come out. I bought the kit from Purple Linda. I'm blaming Sian because everybody blames Sian for the Purple Linda stuff. So I went on her website and had a look at kits, and I found a kit for the lamb. Sheep have a special significance to me, so I bought the kit. This is basically how it came, with the booklet inside of it, with all the yarn. As you can see, it's looking a bit worse for wear now that I've used it. So the pattern is from Simply Crochet Amigurumi, the cutest crochet toys to hook. This actually was a booklet that came with Simply Crochet magazine, and you can make the rabbit, there's a snail, watering can, ooh, it's gone blurry, daffodils, there's also duck, which I know, that's the duck, which I know that Juliet from Pink Butterfly did actually make a while back. I think that's all of the characters. Just having a quick look. Yes. So this is what the lamb's supposed to look like, and this is how he turned out. So it's not too far off. I'm quite pleased with how he looks. I think it's pretty close to how he should be. So the yarns, this is all made in cotton yarns. I'm just pulling them out for you. So with the kit comes 2 balls of this colour. They're all Rico Design Essentials Cotton DK. They're 50-gram balls, which is 130 metres, and they are 100% cotton. So that's all. So that's the label for all the yarns. They're all the same. It's just the numbers that are different. Now on the actual balls it just gives the numbers, but in the pattern it does tell you what they're actually called, so I'm going to refer to the pattern. So this one is number 51 is the yarn colour. It's also known as natural. You actually get 2 balls of this. This is what I had left over. That's from the first ball, and I have used a little bit out of this one as well. So that's pretty good because I've got some left over. So it's shade 51, and that is called natural. So you have 2 balls of that. You have 1 ball of this colour, which is number, can't find it, they get buried, don't they, number 38, which, is that right? Was it? No, hang on. Number 19, 38 is the colour, the dye lot, sorry. So it's actually not 38, it is 19, which is colour dusky pink. So number 19 right there, and it's called dusky pink. So you have 1 ball of that, and literally for the pink, the only thing you're making is the petals on the flower. So I've hardly used any of that at all. Then you have the green, which is really vibrant green, and that is colour 66, and it's called grass green, and it's very true to grass green, I have to say. It's a really nice green actually, and the only bit of green that I've used for that is for the leaf and the stem. So again, not used very much of that. And then you have this colour, which is kind of like a sort of mustardy kind of colour. It's actually called Curry, and it's shade 61. It's is kind of a curry colour. And literally all I used for that was for the centre of the flower. And then the last colour, which is the colour for the head and for the base of the legs, is colour 89, and it's called Taupe. So colour 89, right there, it's called Taupe. And I've used, I reckon, about half of that ball, maybe slightly more. So really with the bright colours, I've still got more or less full balls left. I've got nearly a full ball of the natural and half of that left. So actually, as far as yarn's concerned, it was value for money because I've got enough to make another project. The kit also comes with some DMC thread for doing the features. This is 25 meters, which is 5 grams. And I'm not sure, well, it's just black, isn't it? I'm trying to see if I can see a code. Not sure what the code is, but obviously it's black, so you are sent that as well. I didn't use any of that because I actually had some thread already that I'd started, so I've sort of keep that for another project actually. It also comes with a small pack of safety eyes. There's 10 in the pack, and they're 6mm eyes. Obviously if you only use 2 of your eyes, so I've got 8 left. And obviously it comes with the pattern book, and it comes with 2 hooks. One is a 2.5mm and one is a 3mm, and they're both aluminium hooks. To make it up, obviously I can't give too much away because obviously it's a copyrighted pattern, but you work, the body's worked as one piece. The stitches you will need to know are, you need to know how to do magic loop or magic circle, depending on what you call it. You'll need to know how to single crochet in US terms or double crochet in UK terms. You will need to know how to bobble stitch. It does explain how to do the petal, which was US double crochets, UK trebles, singles, chains, all that kind of thing. It sounds complicated. You need to know how to slip stitch, which I think most of us do know how to do. And then just how to do increases and decreases within single crochet UK terms or double crochet in UK terms. So it's a fairly straightforward pattern. So you work the body and you work from here forwards, and then you shape the front and you're left with a gap, and you're working the bobble stitches as you go along. The tail is worked stepped separately and stuffed and sewn on afterwards. The head obviously is worked as one piece, not the ears, and before you stitch up, so it's worked from the nose up to here, where you obviously stitch it up and obviously put your safety in eyes beforehand. The only thing I'll say about the safety eyes that she sent, I can't remember what brand they were. Trimit's Craft Factory. I've never heard of those ones. I will say they were really, really, really difficult to put on. I actually had to get my friend to help me put them in. I just couldn't get the backs to click over the first ridge to sort of then tighten them. Just couldn't get them on, so the backs were almost a little bit too tight. I've never had any that are that hard to put on. So that's the only downside to making this as far as the kit's concerned. So the ears, you make two. They're basically the inside of the ears and the outside of the ears are identical. So you make two in the taupe and 2 in the dusty pink, and then you basically stitch them together using single crochets, US terms, double crochet in UK terms, and then you pinch them in at the bottom, and then you do that before you stitch them on, and then you stitch them on, which does work out quite cute. the flower. Now the pattern does tell you actually, I think it's to make 5 flowers, but I think that's primarily because in the picture, I'll show you, that it's got a little bucket there with some extra flowers. Well, I'm not really going to have a little bucket with flowers just on the side for no reason, so I only made 1 flower. Obviously you could make more, and if you obviously did, then you would have slightly less yarn left over at the end. So I only made the 1, so the centre was just basically 1 round, and then you just create the petals following obviously the pattern. The stem was a chain and then slip stitching through, and then you work your way up, and then you just do a variety. I think there was some half double crochets in US terms, half trebles in UK terms, as well as double crochet in US terms and trebles in the UK terms. So, and there was some single crochets or double crochets in the petal as well, depending on your US or UK terminology. So the flower was actually quite simple to do. The hardest bit of the whole pattern was it tells you to thread the flower through to basically look like it's eating it and create a mouth. It took me about half an hour to actually get that to pull through. It really didn't want to pull through, and it did sort of pluck it a little bit, so I think I've been able to cover it up, but it was really, really, really difficult to do. So for me, that was the hardest part of the pattern. The face, literally, you're just basically making a Y with the stitches, so that's fairly straightforward. So that, for me personally, I found that easy to do. And then for the legs, the brown sections all worked identical, all done obviously separately. Then the front 2 bits, these bits here, from here to here, on both the legs, so you do 2 exactly the same, and you obviously join the natural yarn, natural colour, to the top of each leg, and there are bubble stitches as well as US single crochets or UK doubles in there. A little bit fiddly, but not too bad. And then you do a similar thing with the back ones, but they are shaped very slightly different. I think you can see there's a slightly different shape to them, and there are more stitches in these. That was a lot more fiddly, and probably out of everything as far as actual crocheting was concerned, that was probably the fiddliest bit for me. I was a bit dubious of how they were going to look when I stitched them on, but once I started stitching them on, they look really, really good. So I've stuffed it all firmly. It does actually stand. Well, it does. My hands aren't big enough, but it does actually stand on its own. There we go. Ta-da! So it does actually stand on its own. And overall, despite the difficulty of getting that through and the safety eyes on, I've actually really enjoyed making this one. So it kept me stimulated enough. I did have to concentrate on this one. It's not one that you can just sit in front of the TV and do. You do need to concentrate, just to make sure you're getting the bobble stitches in the right way, in the right places. But other than that, I really, really enjoyed. I think of all the patterns I've done recently, this is probably one of the ones I've enjoyed the most, and I've been most pleased with the result. I think it does help sometimes that you get some patterns, it is worthwhile getting the yarn. I would say with this one in particular that it was worth getting the cotton yarn. It's not to say that it wouldn't look great in an acrylic, and you will all know that I'm an advocate of using cheap acrylics. But I do think this has come out exceptionally well, and I do really, really love it. So I do recommend with this pattern that you use the cotton yarns that are recommended for the pattern. And I would definitely say that the pattern is worth the money, because I've got leftover yarn, I've got leftover safety eyes, I've got 2 more crochet hooks to add to the collection, and it wasn't just a pattern for the lamb, but I've got the entire booklet. If you didn't get the single crochet magazine, I think a lot of you will have, but if you hadn't got that, then you do get more than just one pattern. You're getting the whole set. So you've got the snail, the duck, watering can, there's daffodils, the rabbit, as well as the lamb. So there's quite a lot of patterns in there. So I think with just the patterns alone and the yarn that's left over, it's worth it. And then of course you've got a beautiful product at the end as well. So I'm super pleased with this one, and I will be keeping this one for myself, which is not very often I do that, but as I said, it was the kit was a gift, so I'm, you know, there are times where I just like to keep the odd thing for myself. So I'll be keeping this one. So I have already, for the yarn that I have left over, I do have an idea of what I could have potentially made another character out of there, because the snail main body is the curry colour. It has a pink shell, although I think it's a different pink to this one, and it has a blue hat, but you could have used the green. So I could have made another character out of this, so bear that in mind. If you change the colours up very slightly, you could possibly make the snail as well. That's not what I'm going to do. I'm not going to say what I'm going to do, but that I do have a project in mind, something that I saw very recently on YouTube, so for a tutorial. So, and it was something I actually need. So that's what I'm going to, I know what I'm going to be using it for basically, so you'll have to watch this space and hopefully it'll be coming up in the next 2-3 weeks. So that's it for today. On the news front, I don't have any news. Life has been pretty straightforward the last few days since I last recorded. It's been pretty uneventful, other than lots of housework and dusting and washing and boring stuff. We've still got the scaffolding up here. They still haven't taken it down, so I don't know if we're going to have it up for another month or what, but the work's all done, so we're just waiting for that to be taken down, so because it's blocking the view and stuff. But hey, I've got some clean windows because I use the scaffolding to clean the windows, so I shouldn't have gone out there really, but I did. Shh, our secret. Yeah, so on the news front there is nothing else to tell you really. It's been quite quiet, which I'm quite pleased about. Still having to be a bit careful with my back, but it is, like I said in my last video, a lot better than it is. I can function now. So yeah, just having to be super careful on what I'm doing. The next video will be for definite, will be the yarn haul from Jan Crothers. I think what I'm going to have to do is split the video in two, otherwise it's probably going to be about an hour long, because Jan, bless her, has sent me on 2 different occasions, has sent me yarn, and there is quite a lot to go through by the time I've gone through all the, you know, the labels and stuff and shown you. So I'm going to do the first part of that this week, probably be at the weekend. So I'll do the first part of that, and then I will do the second part next week at some point. I don't know if I'll do it at the beginning of the week or later in the week. I haven't decided yet. I also have, I'm going to give you a little sneak peek. That's all you're getting. I have completed a cushion and I'm in the process of writing the pattern. It's my own pattern. Yeah, quite pleased. I mean, it's quite straightforward. It is just a cushion, but it's a start, isn't it? And it was one of my goals. If you were with me beginning of the year, you will remember that one of my goals was to write my own pattern. So I am in the process of writing that down. Once I've written it, I will be looking for people to test. So if you're interested in testing the pattern out, because I want to make sure that before I publish it on Ravelry that you know, that it is no mistakes in it. So if you're interested in possibly testing it, I will need it tested fairly quickly. So if you're a really slow crocheter, it might not be for you, but if you're interested in trying it out just to make sure for me, I would be really grateful. I'm looking for a handful of people, so that would be really good. So depending on how quickly I can get things tested will depend on when I share the cushion pattern. And I'll obviously be showing it on here, and I will be publishing a pattern at the same time. So that is something that's coming up. Like I say, it just depends on how quickly I can get people to test it for me. I'm still writing the pattern up at the minute, so I need a few days, and then so that might be next week, or it could be the week after, depending on how quickly I can get people to test the pattern for me. I have pulled out. Now you might remember quite a few weeks back I was talking about a unicorn that I was making that actually came with Simply Crochet magazine. It was a kit. I actually pretty much had it done. I'd done the head and the body, and I just never got round to doing the legs and the mane and the tail and stuff. So I'm hoping to finish that off. So that could be that may well be one of the videos next week, if my cushion pattern isn't ready. So that's what I've got roughly planned at the minute. Also going to be making a start on using these, so that will be hopefully in the next couple of weeks. So just give you a little bit of an idea of what's coming up on the channel. So there's definitely 2 yarn hauls, cushion pattern, unicorn, and the surprise project that I've got to start working on today. I've also had some yarn from one of my subscribers, from the lovely Jo. So there will be yet another yarn haul after I've got all Jan's done. And I've also got, I don't think I've shown you the yarn that my friend's sister, when she came over for that month, she bought me some red heart yarn over from America. So I also have that to show at some point. So there's plenty of yarn haul stuff to come up. And I also have the yarn haul from my mum's neighbour. She's given me a massive bag. A lot of it's on cones. I think one ball has a label, a lot of them don't on that one. But I thought it might still be interesting to show that anyway. So I have that as well. So I've definitely got lots of yarn hauls coming up. So it'll be good for those of you that enjoy it. But I am still beavering away making stuff. So yeah. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed that, and don't forget that if you would like to test my pattern once it's ready for testing, please leave me a message down in the comments section, or contact me through Facebook. They're the best 2 mediums to get in touch with me. Yeah, so that's it. So until next time, remember to stay well, happy crafting, and until next time, remember to stay true to yourself. Bye.